What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to your favorite pond, the Coy Pond, episode 83. And we are, I can officially announce, above 100 subscribers.
Hey!
How about them apples? We hinted at it last week. We were only at 99 when we shot it. We hit 100 during me editing the video. So
Yep. It got to 100, and now we're at
112.
112. So 12 subscribers in basically a week.
Crazy
so
shit.
I think it's something worth celebrating for sure.
Oh.
So we got a little special item here.
Oh, boy.
And
How about them apples?
and on the sleeve,
Is it 100?
you can see that.
Oh, my God. That is hilarious.
You know what's really funny about this is last week you
Yes.
said, if you don't want the big logo in the middle, we can put it up in the corner.
Right.
You pointed exactly to where I had it. And you didn't even know.
I had no idea. That is a complete surprise.
So there's yours, buddy.
Oh, well, thank you. That is awesome. I love it. And I love the 100 on the side. Are we going to keep it updated for each week for the subscriber count on the
We'll just
store?
keep you pull it off and tack another one on there or something.
It's like a patch that you
Yeah,
get
exactly.
on the shoulder. Like
But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
I love it. That
So-
is awesome.
Little surprise for you there,
Yeah.
buddy.
As you all know, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music. And as always, remember to leave a question on SpeakPipe. We might answer, we might not. I'm just kidding. If you leave something, we'll definitely listen to it. And don't forget to check out the merch. Sounds like we have a new special 100 subscribers merch drop, potentially. And, you know, you can find anything you want on there. There's a little bit of everything for everyone. Get yourself something nice for the upcoming 4th of July, I guess, is the next one. Next holiday around the corner. Nevertheless, 100 subscribers.
100 subscribers.
We finally did it. Thank you all so much. I can't say it enough for all the support you've given us. The comments on the video have been hilarious. That is now almost to 2,000 views. Did not expect that one. Shout out Matt for assisting me on
absolutely.
that. So funny. And if you're a new subscriber, keep in mind, I said it in the beginning of that video, it's way too early. Who cares?
Yeah.
And you know, love the comments. Some really funny ones. Some really good discussion back and forth until the end of one of those that happened this morning. Still hilarious. Thank you all so much.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And I actually went out this week and bought some things on the from the store. I was at a golf outing, and somebody mentioned, or knew it was coming up, somebody mentioned, well, why don't you get some of your koozies and just have like 100 of those things in your bag and give them out as you go to these tournament things. And I thought, that's fucking brilliant.
What a marketing scheme.
So I wish I could put like the link or something on the bottom of the koozie, but at least it has the name on there.
Yeah,
it's pretty easy, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm going to start handing those out when I go to different events and things. And
Not a
I mean, they actually have them all different colors, which is pretty cool.
I was gonna say, if you got a teal one with just the basic logo, even that'd be pretty good.
Yeah, I think the ones I got were
blue,
black, gray, and kind of a royal blue.
Hell yeah!
So
that'll be pretty sweet.
They had an orange one that looked cool too, but it was sold out.
Well,
or unavailable.
right.
You know.
Hey, get what you can.
Yeah.
A little switch up for this episode. We might be talking a little football at the end, so if that's what you're here for, look towards the end, see what I have labeled as in the channels. But we're talking mainly what road to 100.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of, I would say, didn't expect this to happen this early.
No.
For a small YouTube channel, you might be thinking, why do these guys care so much about 100? To be honest, it's because we don't really expect to get any sort of recognition for this shit. We kind of just do this for ourselves, and, you know, the merch is something, but other than that, we were pumped just to hit triple digits.
We just kind of set the goal, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of got, you know, look, it's going to be a few months. We were probably at 80 or something like that.
Yeah, we were like 85.
And we're thinking, yeah, it'll be, maybe a month or two. And I was going to do this, and I thought, I got plenty of time to do that. And all of a sudden, the motherfucker shot up.
Yeah, that video, crazy.
And I was like, hey, Natalie, can you do these in a week?
We need these quick.
That's why when we were doing last week's, I was like, oh, don't go to 100 don't go to 100. Make it next week. Make it next week.
Wait a week. Something tragic happened.
Yeah, so it was pretty funny.
Yeah, so we're kind of going over, and Kev curated this.
Yeah, so, you kind of do this when you get to, like,
milestones.
Like Seinfeld, when they got to 100 episodes, they did kind of a look back on their 100 highlights or whatever.
We're really just Seinfeld talking sports, if you think about it.
A little reach there, but, Just a tiny reach.
They refer to us as the Seinfeld of YouTube. I don't know. That's what the people say.
What's funny is, the episodes of the subscribers are both kind of right around that 100. So,
yeah.
4 weeks from now we could do a 100-episode thing or whatever. But so I started just going back through all the episodes, and I also started thinking about like where we started, how did we get here, who's been involved.
Yeah.
And I thought it's kind of fun just to kind of talk through.
Yeah.
If you go back and you look at all the episodes that we had, and we started in the office with a bare, nothing behind us.
No, rough setup is putting it lightly.
Yeah.
We had an idea of how this would look. We had no idea. Never tried this before, never thought about trying. Well, we thought about trying this for quite some time.
Yeah.
But, it was, if you go back and just search oldest YouTube on the YouTube channel, it's hilarious how bare bones it was, truly.
And you really should, because it's amazing the transformation that's happened. The physical space is one thing.
Right.
The actual dialogue and the content of the episodes has changed dramatically, too. The people we've had on, people, Matt, who's helped, Jason, who's helped.
Yep. Jordan,
Jason, Jordan and Jason were our first guests in the studio, if I remember right. But yeah, just really kind of cool to think back through all that. And so the first episode, if you go out and check it out, it's lame.
It's rough.
And I think you said it. It's like the first Office episode.
The pilot.
Yeah, the pilot sucked compared to the series.
Yeah, and we're still learning how to do it. Even not to say we've gotten great at it, but we've made substantial leaps and bounds from 0 to 1.
There's some strides.
Yes.
And if you think there's not,
please watch 5 minutes and tell me what you think of it.
Yeah.
If you think this is a bit bad.
Yeah. And the things that changed. It's really this guy right here. What he's done.
I don't know about that.
But look at the thumbnails. Look at the progression of the thumbnails that he's figured out how to do it. Look at the episodes used to start with me, and I'm kind of just lame and whatever.
No.
But Colin brings the energy to the opening of the thing, and hey, I'm here with my guest, K Dog, or I'm here. Matt's in this week. Kevin's on the road, or
we've workshopped quite a few. It took 20 episodes maybe to figure out how do we want this thing to start, because I will admit the marketing point of this we didn't think of is how do you tie in koi fish to football, because if you still search the Coy Pond in YouTube, it's typically some dudes actually making and creating and designing koi ponds.
Yeah.
And not genius on our part, however, we're in too deep, and I kind of love that we've just stuck with it, to be honest. But aside from a little lighting, maybe a new camera. Nothing. Well, I guess that is the entire setup. But we've made more leaps and bounds with nothing upgraded, rather than upgrading the setup and being in the studio and whatnot. It's like you just move a table, you upgrade one light to be a little bit brighter, so you guys aren't staring at us in the dark and it's blurry. Just some real bare minimum things you would never think of until you tried doing this.
Yeah. It's really interesting, and then of course. The background as it started was bare. We kind of made that a thing over the first maybe 15, 20 episodes.
Yeah.
To where it was really more about, there's something new, and we'd point out what it was.
Mm-hmm. Give a little talk about it maybe.
Yeah. And then it was episode, what one was it here? It was like episode, when we moved here.
Oh, I don't know.
It was episode 35.
Whoa.
Yeah. 35, and what's interesting about that is it was like one of our best episodes, like the third best episode at the time, because we got 144 views.
That's funny.
But when we first started in here, we were back to bare behind us.
Yes, we had no idea what to do with the space.
Because it wasn't set up yet,
so
we still had some construction things being done. I don't think these shelves were here. Maybe they were at that point.
They might have been, but it's like we added a few things at a time.
Yeah.
And it's evolved, obviously, whether it's
these
random little knickknacks throughout it.
What was really funny about episode 34, and I'll give you these timestamps if you want to do something with them, but we were having a conversation about ranking our quarterbacks for fantasy.
Okay.
Fantasy football, who's going to be the best, and all this stuff. And I totally fucked you up by naming Bryce Young. in the top 15. None other than Bryce Young of the Carolina Panthers. I am putting at 15.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Do we want to make one list? Do we want to make
What list?
one list?
This is
Yes,
the Coy Pond.
The
Coy
unified
Pond's list.
The Coy Pond list.
Because if we made our own list, then we've got 2 kois in the same pond.
Yeah.
And
that's plural as well.
That's a different video.
Right on. Okay, your turn at 14.
Okay, so
Now that I've fucked it up.
now that you've absolutely sent my list to the heavens,
Yes. It stumped you.
it brutalized me.
And I think it actually kind of pissed you off a little bit when I went back and watched it, because we started into it, and I said, are we going to do 2 lists? And you said, there's 2 kois. There's 1 pond. So 1 list.
we have to do this together.
We were so trying to get our groove.
Yeah.
But it cracked me up because I think the start of the list, and then I brought the question, and then you're like, there's 1 list because there's 1 pond.
I vaguely remember you throwing out Bryce Young and just being like, dude, what are you fucking doing?
Yeah.
Help me, help you.
And then he said, mine's all fucked up now. And then we just went back and forth. But
we figured it out. You know, you got to learn on the fly or change on the fly sometimes.
Now, in the next episode after that, so let's see. Yeah, so the last one at the office before we moved to the studios, as we call it, was 144 views. And it's the next one after that, episode 35, that's the first one here, that we had the breakout with 445 for the receivers.
That was the NFL receivers video.
That was the first episode we did here.
And that one still looks rough because we're still figuring out lighting. I remember that one I remember that one a lot.
Isn't that crazy though?
That was a wild episode for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Not to mention, we had some hot takes at the time that did not end up being crazy bad.
Right.
We got chirped for the Jamar Chase pick. I still remember that.
Yeah.
Someone said it was CD or Tyreek, I believe.
And we did pretty damn good on our list.
I got flamed for putting Drake London above Justin Jefferson. I'll take that on the shins. That's valid. However, I believe Drake London was still 5 or 6, and Justin Jefferson last year was 4 or 5. So It wasn't like I missed by 10 spots. But I remember that video well.
Now, I want to go back. So episode 21, you and I, you're filming, you're letting it run as we're just talking before we start. We used to do that a little bit more than we do now.
Yeah, it was a little easier back then.
And we're sitting there and you're like, what do you want to talk about? I'm like, And you go, what do you want to talk about? I go, and you just kind of put your hand on your forehead and you go, I don't know anymore.
It's kind of our first week where there's not shit going on.
Yeah.
Like, really, any shit going on.
Yeah. All right, what are you thinking?
I don't know what we're doing anymore.
and then it was, and we got 120 views on that episode. And then
just going back and watching these.
And then the next week, Matt subs for the first time.
Yes, that was the mystery guest thumbnail.
And you said, oh God, what did you say? But anyway, it was the first time Matt was on, and you said if Matt couldn't do it, you were going to take from the prior week me just going,
yes,
yeah, yeah. And just blend that in while you did it by yourself.
I remember I had started to figure out how to edit just a little bit more, how do you want to say it, advanced than I knew going into this whole venture. And I was panicking because my buddy may not have been able to make it. Matt, channel knows Matt. Yeah. And
Matt's popular.
Yeah, he is.
Really popular.
His average views on episodes is significantly
pretty
higher
high
than ours.
Yes, well, than mine.
Well, especially now.
You're always, yeah.
True. But I was like panicking because understandably, he can't make it to this ginormous podcast episode that we have planned. And I'm like, shit, I'm going to have to talk NFL by myself. I'm like, oh, dear God, how do I not make this sound like a monologue? And I'm like, I've got it. I'll sit in the exact same place and overlay you just just lean back saying the same thing. I'll just loop it
over and over.
Still need to figure that one out, but that'd be hilarious.
And then there was one episode where you did a mock draft with the boys, and I think Jason and Matt, maybe somebody else were on that.
I think it was just Jason and Matt because that was the sleeper episode.
But you were, when I first started looking at it, it's just you, and then the snake of the 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 results of the draft,
Yeah.
pick by pick. And when I first started watching, I'm like, holy shit, he did do one by himself. and then all of a sudden I hear them chime in. I'm like, oh, they're just not pictured, but they're behind there.
And I want to say that was on purpose, but now that you bring it up, I'm not totally sure if that was on purpose or not.
Yeah,
I bet that was.
But I that was because I thought, like I said at first, holy shit, did he do one episode by himself?
He's just out here mocking.
Yeah. So, and again, that did really well.
It's just funny. I can never tell. Honest to God, to this day, I don't know how much of you care about the back behind. What's the back? Oh my God, I'm forgetting the name of it. Behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like I'll be sitting there throughout the day at work, and obviously I'll be working, but I'll be thinking about, okay, podcast today. What am I doing for the thumbnail? What am I doing for the title? I can bullshit the rest of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh God, I don't know who's going to be on it. I don't know how it's going to do. And
yeah,
those have actually turned out the best. And I don't know if it's because I've actually had to critically think about it or what, but not too bad.
Yeah, your thumbnails have gotten, pretty elaborate, some of them.
They've gotten a lot better.
And really, really good. And, as we kind of talk about Matt and Jason, thinking about some other people that helped us, get here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking about some of the things in the pond that we have,
yeah. And, we haven't really ever explained all of it at once.
No.
You want to go? Should we do that?
Yeah, let's do that. I like it.
Hell yeah. Top down.
Let's
probably?
start. Yeah.
All right. I don't know if y'all can see it. I'll zoom in on the podcast.
Yeah.
The golf pen. That is a pen. A couple different pens, I think.
It
really.
is. Yeah.
But it's set up so that you can lay it down. And, you have like a tabletop golf putting green type of thing.
Yeah.
I think one of my sisters got
that was from
you.
Betsy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then obviously the Steelers helmet.
Yep. And that came from John, who did the shelves and helped us do some of the stuff in the room here.
Shout out John. He comments once in a while, but he helped make this thing a thing.
Yeah. Big Steelers fan.
Yeah, big Steelers. It's probably the only reason you'll ever see a Steelers helmet here. I have nothing against them, but, we've made exceptions. We've become more tolerant, if you will. Obviously, the Mickey Steelers and the Steelers football, John.
Yep. And the same with the coaster.
Oh, yeah, the coaster. I didn't realize that we had a coaster.
And, of course, since we occasionally, with Beth, go to Disney.
Yes, it fits very well.
The Mickey Steelers seem to get it from a couple directions.
We have a couple tie-ins there.
Yeah.
So, no big deal. Cowboys helmet.
Yeah.
That's self-explanatory. Miami.
Same thing.
Kind of self-explanatory. And then we've got our nifty little K-Dog Coy Pond figurine off my shoulder.
Yep. That came from Darlene and Tim.
Yep. Them. They actually got them pretty accurate, I won't lie.
It's pretty funny.
It is scary accurate.
You know who got the Coy Pond bottle opener?
Carole.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Bears fan.
Yeah, if he's watching, hope he's having a great vacation right now. He works with us.
Thanks, Carole.
And then the Get Phil voted in for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame from one of the it's like one of the ladies that runs kind of that organization.
She's a huge Phil Collins fan.
Yes.
And has really taken it on herself to get him in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And again, getting that hat on here, we talked about it on the podcast. If you are a Phil Collins fan at all or like Genesis is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Right. But
Phil Collins is not, and he's based on sales and comparing him to Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson, he definitely deserves to be. So.
Not to mention he joined the club of having a musical group and a solo career in the Hall of Fame. There's only a few of them.
Only 3 guys as a group and as a solo artist have sold 300 million plus records.
Right.
Both as a group and individually. And obviously the Jackson 5, the Beatles, Paul McCartney, Michael Jackson, and then Genesis and Phil Collins are the third one.
So that's why there's this big push. That's why I've got the hat on.
Yep.
Big Phil Collins fan.
Exactly.
Chargers flag, self-explanatory. Yep. That comes from yours truly. The banner. We got that banner so early.
We did. It's all we had for a while.
It was. And did that venture anywhere? Do I remember?
Did we take it anywhere?
Yes.
I don't know if we did or not.
Because we had the golf.
We had the thing back here for a bit.
Yeah, that
for Soft Rock's charity outing.
That was a golf thing, but
this for Nicole.
I don't think has ever really made it elsewhere.
I think we kept that pretty safely inside.
Yes.
Yeah,
we can't let it get hurt.
That's right.
It's our signature piece. But yeah, there's as you see the shelf change, maybe once in a while we'll update it.
Yeah, and of course the flag was more recent.
And in ties with the 4th of July around the corner, we have to get the studio set up.
Exactly.
We decorate the house every month of the year because we have to.
That's right.
But nevertheless, that's the explanation for the shelf for anyone that might care.
Yeah, the shelf was probably the one that has the most, like, why is that in there or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The lovely bourbon is just because of the koi on there.
Yes, of course.
Which came from Aaron as a Christmas gift, which is very nice.
Amazing.
That's Jefferson's Ocean bourbon in there, which is fabulous stuff if you've ever had it.
Delicious.
So yeah, that's kind of thinking those people that have helped us kind of do the room and so forth, and the fans, the subscribers that listen to the podcast all the time. Jen. I think Gavin listens to it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of.
There's shout out the boys, obviously.
Yeah.
Big help there. Jason has spent countless hours with me coming up with the thumbnail, so it feels almost wrong of me to take all of the credit because a lot of that early on was Jason walking me through what looks good and what looks like shite.
And I think the boys also had good inputs on how to tweak it. Yes. Probably particularly Jason and Matt.
Yes. They all pitched in a little bit. Jordan's been a great help in the background.
Jordan's always been supportive from the get. I think he was the first one to type something in and say, "Great job, fellas."
Yes.
Or something like that.
Great.
Speak pipe.
Yes, the speak pipe evolution. We're still working on that. Next week is wide open. By the time you're listening to this, you are welcome to suggest what we should talk about.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that a little bit later in the video.
Yeah. So let's go back to a few more highlights of episodes.
I love that.
But I thought it was good to thank some people there.
We got to thank the boys and the ladies.
Yeah, so episode 46 is when we got the banner hung in here.
Okay.
So we're at, what was it now?
83. Yeah.
So that's
just
quite a while ago.
Just under 40.
Let's see. Our classic rant in that one.
Oh.
Which rants became some of our now and again thing that we did.
Yes.
This is the one where I ranted about Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, yeah.
And how nobody in the NFL said anything about him being out for the year in August.
I think a lot of people shared that same sentiment, and it didn't get brought up really until later in the year after your rant, mainly because I think last year we heard it numerous times that he was supposed to be healthy X more weeks this week, and then it turned out that he had 2 exploded legs.
Yeah.
It just kept getting pushed back. It was crazy.
Worse and worse, and
yeah.
Episode 51.
Okay.
You gave me a Cowboys. I had a Cowboys rant in this.
Oh yes.
And those were some of my favorite ones because this is where you had me in the flag. Yes. Like I was at the State of the Union.
Oh, I forgot I styled it this way for a little bit. Yes, you were up there giving a commencement speech.
It was pretty damn good, and I went on and on about it. And your face several times in that. As I just let fly what I thought about Jerry. And I think I even pulled up like quotes from Jerry from when he bought the team.
Those Jerry quotes were crazy, by the way.
And you're just laughing. You're trying not to laugh your ass off. It's pretty...
Yes, because I framed myself to be over someone else in the background.
Yes.
So the whole time I was like...
So that was very entertaining as I went back and looked.
We had a few episodes there where I was, instead of putting visuals up for whatever we were talking about, it was like... Just throw him over a president giving a speech. We'll make this work.
The Spooktober Award.
I kind of whipped out on a lot of those awards later on.
You had some good ones there. I mean, all through the holidays, you had something going on.
From like October to almost January. We had an award for every week.
Yeah, you had the Turkey Award.
Yes.
Which actually at first I thought, I wasn't sure if that was a good or bad award.
I think that was Jamar Chase.
That was Jamar Chase. That's exactly right. Episode 53 at 19 minutes. So I'll give you that.
Oh, my God.
Episode 52 was the first remote episode that you did.
Is that, first one I did with Matt.
And that was Matt and Jason. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and that was the 1 year anniversary because you say, we'll celebrate it next week, but it technically is our 1 year anniversary.
That's right. Yeah, 52 weeks in a year. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's too funny.
There you go. So... Beyond the Reads, we've always laughed about that.
Yes, we've joked about coming out with an autobiography about the podcast.
Trying to figure out how that all factors in.
We have some working titles. We still need to get this trademarked, but
we do.
We'll figure that out.
TM.
Yeah, TM.
Episode 60 the new desk.
Yes, the desk. Oh my God, the desk that can raise and lower so it doesn't look like we're hovering over and/or like.
It's so magical.
I cared way more about this desk than I should have.
It's absolute. And when I first got it, I was kind of like, okay, but then now that we've had it here, I see what you were after, because that shit table.
It did its job for as long as it could.
It did. It was like born in like the 40s, I think.
It's an older table.
It's
it has
narrow.
character.
We didn't have room.
Oh my God, it was tough because the laptop would be over me. There'd be no notes. It was a little low, if you remember, so our knees would hit the top.
Yes.
So periodically there'd be an earthquake in the studio.
And there's a couple times you mentioned it. You're like, oh, what a delightful. You kind of like said something about the table, and I'm like,
So nice.
oh my God, go back and look at it. Yeah, there was something about the table. I kind of missed it.
Oh, it's so funny. This is so nice. It's hard not to be poetic about football, but fucking tables, man. They don't get enough credit.
Yeah, it's true. Oh my gosh. And so your episode a few weeks ago with Matt is closing on 2,000.
Yeah, I think it's 16 to 18, somewhere in there right now. That's nuts.
That's incredible.
That one blew up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anybody that's not watching this show or podcast, listening to it because of that one, appreciate you subscribing through all that. Again, it was way too early.
Yeah.
Those odds have already changed. The video is already outdated technically because half the spreads in there have moved at least a point and a half or a half a point.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, of course, all the stats I could find on the Vikings-Bears game were just like a team that's been home has won it the most, or the away team has. Like, no one's looking into this early.
Right.
I think I saw someone, there was a tweet that was like from the, what Twitter account was it? It's some dumb account, and they put out how many Super Bowls would Justin Herbert win on the Chiefs if he was drafted or playing on the Chiefs right now. I'm like, no one has anything to say right now. Aaron Rodgers got picked up by the Steelers finally. Good for the Steelers. They can't sign T.J. Watt.
Yeah.
The Bengals are trying to screw over their first-round pick.
That's pretty amazing, actually. And I saw something about that not long ago, but Shamar, what is it?
Stewart?
Shamar Stewart?
Yeah.
Yeah. Goes off on the Bengals front office. Did you see this?
Yes. Did you hear what they're trying to do?
No.
So, the Bengals are trying to put in a clause for the first time with the rookie to kind of set precedent that it used to be, I think it was guaranteed money, wasn't forfeited if they cut you after like the second or third season or something, if you were there for 5 years, let's say. Now they're trying to put in a clause that guaranteed money you don't get if you're cut or dropped or move teams after that second season. So they're like, long story short, they're putting in a first-time clause they're trying out with this rookie, and that's why he's like, fuck no, you're not trying it out on me.
Yeah.
And so he's like, no, take that out.
Yeah.
And so the Bengals are doing the most Bengals thing ever.
Jesus.
Not to mention the Hendrick
I was going to say,
thing.
and when I first saw the headline that he went off, I thought it was going to be about signing the star, but it was about him.
Yes.
I'm not asking for nothing y'all have never done before, but y'all Bengals just want to win arguments more than winning games, in my opinion.
It's not a great look. Cincinnati's doing Cincinnati things, and I did think it was on him because he has got a young agent right now. He's a young draft pick. There's plenty of people that have said crazy things about him so far, but it's now coming out that it's the Bengals that are trying something new, and he's, rightfully so, asking why me.
Yeah.
And what was it? Hendrickson?
Yeah, Trey Hendrickson.
Hendrickson. He's trying to figure out, obviously, his contract too, so the look of that's just not great right now.
No, Bengals are just front and center, not in a good way.
Yeah,
right?
And it's when they never pay anybody, then they pay their wide receivers, and then this happens. It's like, ooh, so you didn't expect this to go wrong, did you?
So now we got Aaron Rodgers at the Steelers.
Now we have Aaron Rodgers at the Steelers.
Did you see what Myles Garrett had to say?
Oh boy.
Myles Garrett says, I think it's a good opportunity to put him in the graveyard.
Oh, Jesus. Has he never sacked Aaron Rodgers then?
I don't know.
Because I'm assuming he's referencing his Halloween costume every year that he wears that has the new set of quarterbacks
there you go.
that he's sacked up until
that's
that
right.
point. So, if I'm guessing correctly,
that makes total sense.
He hasn't sacked him yet. Now he gets 2 chances to do it.
Yeah.
Which, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm horrified about. But, who knows? Aaron Rodgers went exactly where we thought he would. I think I said it a few weeks there.
Yeah.
Everyone assumed it.
Yeah.
It's not like that was breaking news or anything.
And also that he got married a few months ago.
Yes.
We just found that out.
Yes. So I think someone claimed his wife was an astrologist, like crazy lady. So or Hippy Dippy maybe, which would line up for Aaron Rodgers. So
that would
we'll
fit,
have to
fit
see
right, yeah.
what might come up. It'd be hilarious if he just sat out a game because the star and moon didn't align correctly, but we'll get there when we get there.
That must have been what happened when he ran out with that flag with the Jets, huh?
Yes, Mercury was in retrograde and his Achilles did not agree.
So this goes back to a comment you made earlier when we were referencing our popular wide receiver episode.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Drake London.
Yep.
Well, here's Michael Penix. It says he won't be after this year. And this is Michael Penix Jr. on if he felt Drake London is underappreciated across the NFL. He won't be after this year, he says.
We appreciated him pretty well last year, and I don't think we were too terribly off on that guess.
Not at all.
Phenomenal season.
He got better as it went on, too.
He got better as it went on. Kirk Cousins was Kirk Cousins to what we expected. And nevertheless, I guess early on I would assume he'll have a great year. Kyle Pitts is still there. Bijan's supposed to have a great year.
Should snap back, right?
It all rides on Michael Penix.
It really does.
And, I've seen and heard a lot of people saying he'll be amazing and he'll be terrible. It's kind of just what you make of it right now.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. I don't have anything against the Falcons when it comes to Michael Penix being good. It sounds like Kirk Cousins will just be a backup for this year.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's happy to do that. Having Kirk Cousins as your veteran quarterback to train a new starting quarterback is not a bad move. A lot of great players have had less people behind them. So I'm hoping for the best. I really don't know what to expect. I mean, Drake London should have a phenomenal year. I'm hoping. The only thing about that is I think Kyle Pitts last year was meh.
Mm-hmm.
So if he picks it up, you would have to assume that might be a little a dip to Drake London's overall, not efficiency, but production.
Yeah, and if he's playing better, maybe he draws more coverage.
Yeah.
And it makes it easier for Drake London.
Exactly.
Because I don't know if targets were the issue or he just wasn't catching what he was.
I was going to say, and I have no idea. For the love of God, I can't handle this anymore. We'll see.
100 subscriber fatigue.
Yes. Oh, my heart.
And then, last but not least, Jim Irsay.
Oh.
Rest in peace.
Yes, we didn't. I think that happened the night I was editing that last week.
Did it really?
R.I.P. Jim Irsay.
Yeah, passed away.
Very unfortunate.
Sorry to hear that. And now, his three daughters are a third, I guess, owners.
I kind of love that.
That's pretty wild, actually.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Obviously, there wasn't, I think, enough good things said about Jim Irsay.
Yeah.
People were going above and beyond to say, how much he would just give out, how great of a person he was. He had some issues early on in his career, but he tackled those head on, and he had one of the craziest guitar collections of all time. Just insane, he lived life the way you should if you're in that position.
Yep.
And even in the last few years, you saw his daughter on the sideline with the headset on, listening to the play calls and all that sort of thing. So I'm excited. It's cool they're taking it over. Maybe the Colts will be better. I think that's more on Anthony Richardson, but we'll have to see.
Very cool.
Terrible he's gone, but on to the next generation of ownership.
That's right. Not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing. Sounds like they were in a pretty good spot. I can imagine there's been teams throughout the years that didn't expect it or plan for it, and that probably does not go well.
Exactly right. This looks like they had the plan the whole time.
Yes.
All three of them seem happy and right in the mix, and off they go.
Amen to that. So, hell yeah. Got anything else?
That's all I got, man.
I don't have much else myself.
Well, congratulations.
Hey, look at us. Who would have thought?
Nicely done.
Hey, we did it.
Glad to be here.
Now on to 1,000.
Yep. Now on to 1,000 and on to 100 videos.
Yes, the 100 videos.
That's coming up.
Hot sauce videos in the works. We're figuring that out technically. Work with me here. It might be in a few months when we hit 100, our 100th episode. It might be earlier. We'll have to see how bad the summer gets.
Yeah.
Leave us something on SpeakPipe if you want us to do an in-depth, more analysis on something.
Yeah, please do.
Most of the time we can't because we reference so many teams and so many players at once. We don't always do it.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's it.
Hell yeah. All right. You all have a good, safe week, and we will talk to you next week on the Coy Pond. Peace.